This is probably the friendliest, most accessible 7-day bikepacking event in all of Scotland.
It's about the places you visit,
So what do we reckon the collective noun is for this?
the people you meet,
This is the best in the world because it compares, and yeah, we're proving it.
the stories you hear,
David Bowie was sat in the bar, a big tall red top hat on.
over 7 days in the saddle.
It's the Rome Scotland Rally. See you in 10 days, Flora. Hope they look after you. It's 7:45 on a Sunday morning, which means we are starting before the rest of the people doing the Rome Scotland Rally. But that's kind of fitting, because we're not actually doing the rally in quite the same way.
Most people who are riding this rally carry camping kit and use a mix of accommodation. We're travelling lighter because right now we're not as fit as we'd like to be, so we've booked places to stay.
Morning.
What's more, because our van needed some work doing, we've not started with everyone else. The Rome Scotland Rally is a low-key tour that so far has tackled 3 different routes in Scotland, and you can find them on the website to ride any time. The 2023 route leaves Edinburgh and heads into the borders, then across to Dumfries and Galloway, seeking out the best gravel tracks. It's a clockwise loop, roughly broken down into 7 days. Most riders started from Edinburgh, most on gravel bikes, with some coming from Canada, the USA, and parts of mainland Europe to take part. Entry is by voluntary donation to a nominated charity. Looking ahead, low cloud seems to hang over the high ground on today's route. It's the highest section of this whole tour, so we need to decide whether to switch to an alternate route. This seems a good place to ponder our choice, especially over breakfast.
Well, we're all on a WhatsApp group and I'm just catching up with stuff. There's a campsite just outside Edinburgh, and it turns out bikes have been stolen from there. There's a guy who came over from the Netherlands. I don't know whether it's just one or more than one bike that's gone. I think there's some German friends came over on the ferry, and their bikes were taken last night from the campsite. I don't know what to say, really. I really feel for them. Right now they're sitting there waiting to file a police report.
They've said they'll return next year. Meanwhile, local knowledge has helped our decision. A rider has already come over the tops and says it's clear, so it's rugged route for us. Rubble from an old jail went into the wall of Hope's Reservoir. This is a big recreation area for people living around Scotland's capital, and the trail is excellent. Before, that is the steepest climb on the whole 7-day tour.
To be fair, this is the first bit of hiker bike we've had, so not bad. Not really used to grouse moors, are we? Oh, what's that? That's a trap. Is there anything in it?
I think so.
It's down. Whatever it is, it's down.
This was the first of many traps we'd see to catch stoats and weasels on this grouse moor, where they eat the eggs of the birds raised to be shot.
Thank you.
We're on the Herring Road, an ancient route used by fishwives carrying creels of fish to market in Lauder, and by the folk from the hills bringing herring back from Dunbar for use in the winter. We're also passing the first of many whim farms we'll see on this ride.
Can't speak right now. Currently getting bombarded with flies.
Minor roads increasingly grow in size and traffic until we reach the end of the first stage in the border market town of Kelso.
So this is Kelso, where we are spending tonight, end of day 1 on the Rome Scotland Rally.
Here the rivers Tweed and Teviot meet. Sir Walter Scott went to Kelso Grammar School in 1783, and he said of the town, "It is the most beautiful, if not the most romantic village in Scotland."
My goodness, this does look a bit too posh for us.
Relaxation rather than romance was our first concern when we splashed out a little on tonight's hotel. Right on the riverbank in a quiet part of town, we're not the only riders to end up here tonight.
How are we feeling at the start of day 2?
Digesting breakfast.
Thank you. It was a good breakfast though, wasn't it? Yeah. They stayed in the same hotel as us, so we've already had a chat. We rode with those chaps for a little while. They turned left, we turned right. They're doing the rugged route. We are on the rolling route. But I don't think that means road all the way.
This is the rugged route, 460 miles and 30,000 feet of climbing. The rolling route is 325 miles with 18,000 feet of climbing and less off-road. We choose between them daily or pick our own alternative.
And all of a sudden, I think I see a bike behind us.
Which is how we met Jim, a volunteer with the charity this ride is supporting, Talking Tandems.
Talking Tandems are a charity based in Dalgety Bay to allow visually impaired people out on a bike. So the visually impaired are on the rear of the tandem and known as stokers, and the people who can see, thankfully, are on the front and they're known as pilots. The first ride I went on, I was a little bit worried in case the stoker expected a running commentary of the "and here's 3 belted Galloway cows," but no, these men and women are there for the cycling.
Our route takes us through Jedburgh, with time to be tourists.
Should I tell you something? What? I have come through Jedburgh so many times, just living effectively down the road from here, and I've never done this. I've been through here on my bike and I've never done this. It was actually one of the reasons I was delighted to do this rolling route.
Jedburgh Castle has quite a history, and for a while it was a jail where prisoners would await their day in court.
Jedburgh was always an important settlement, but it came more so in Roman times. At the end of Deer Street, or rather where Deer Street, the long Roman road crossed into Scotland. And the problem for us is these places are always at river crossings in valleys, which means it's a beep of a climb getting out the other side. This is the edge of Walkup Forest. Now on the other edge of quite a big forest is the rugged route, and the people who are following that, and most of the riders are, seem to be having, well, a bit of route finding difficulty.
A tiny section of route that hadn't been checked was blocked by downed trees, but everyone treated that as part of the adventure. The rugged route crossed the border into Kielder Forest, then back again to Newcastleton, which is where we're headed to, down one of the best roads I have ever cycled.
This is an absolutely brilliant descent. I haven't pedalled for miles, but neither have I needed to touch the brakes, just been swooping around corners. I'll have the chocolate. Oh, it's in glass, heavy. Got one of these, chocolate milk. All right.
Yeah, go out and
Go out and stay with the bikes, yes, my dear. It's turning into an absolutely lovely evening for the end of day 2. Of course, me being clever, I've gone and booked our accommodation 10 miles after the finish of today's stage in Newcastleton, which means a few extra miles for us, but it means tomorrow is that much shorter. Good evening. You're obviously the reception committee.
We'd crossed into England for the night in a lovely farm guest house. Day 2 done.
Yeah. Oh, okay, right, okay. You're gonna knock me over. Right. Right, I think we know who's in there. Day 3 is all going to be on road, and the difference between the rugged and the rolling route is just really how far you go. This is the road out to the M6, so it's not surprising it's going to be fairly busy. However, it is quite a contrast to the lanes and woods we've been riding in.
Both rugged and rolling now follow the same route. From Newcastleton, it's all road today, making the transition into Dumfries and Galloway. Some will make it past Kirkcudbright. We're heading for Castle Douglas, crossing the border in Gretna.
Just the other side of Gretna, and it's amazing how quickly, well, everything changes. The whole landscape is much flatter in the Solway estuary here. And the sky, even the sky feels bigger.
We're starting to see more rally riders now.
Oh, good to see you. Did you didn't find the guys' bikes, did you?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately not.
Tried.
Among them, Keith and Lindsay, who also run a YouTube channel, linked in the video description. Keith had started making videos to help his business and just kept going.
Then we stopped doing our business and we just continued doing our own adventures and thought, you go to all these beautiful places and you might as well share it. All I care about is bums on seats. If you get a couple of extra bums on seats, inspire someone, I think that's what it's all about.
Keith and Lindsay ended up riding a very different rally to us, heading into places more rugged than the rugged route. There's a link to their videos in this video's description and at the end.
Ah, what a nice spot. So what do we reckon the collective noun is for this? A what of cycle? A wake. A sweat. You see, that's why I like this sort of tour, where there's a little bit of time pressure, but not too much, and you can take some time out to lie around on the grass and go and visit castles like this. Well, that was clear, wasn't it? Yeah.
We didn't plan to ride the easier, rolling route. That just seems to be happening. No one else seems bothered. And we rather like it.
It's not a race, there's no pressure on anybody, and that's why it's a good thing to do. It's a good ethos, good heart, and a good spirit to stuff like this. It's day 4, and we've decided to treat ourselves to a relatively early day. I say relatively, it's still 6 hours on the bike. Good morning. Just admiring your beautiful dogs.
Bernese mountain dog.
Bernese, oh right.
I bet they need a lot of looking after though.
It takes you about maybe a couple of hours to brush them.
Are they very much guard dogs? Are they kind of...
No, couch potatoes.
On easy days, there's more time to bump into interesting people, like the man who designed the gravel courses of the Raiders race and recent UCI qualifying event, the Gralloch. He's Warren.
2.5, 3 years ago, I was saying this is the best in the world because it compares, and yeah, we're proving it. It's just a wonderful area, and great cafes, great hospitality. The person in charge from the UCI just yesterday sent us a that was the best organised, most successful, most perfect first event he's ever had in his 30 years of the UCI. So that's the sort of feedback we're having.
Then he said, talk to Phil about when his cafe used to be a pub at the heart of a commune with people from London, including musician Brian Eno.
So legend has it that, and there's supposed to be photographic evidence, now I don't know, where David Bowie was sat in the bar through yonder with a big tall red top hat on, just in exactly the same place where my seat is.
Can't quite believe everything that just happened in the last hour. And none of that would have happened if we'd been just stuck to the route and had not just branched out and done our own thing. But something else would have happened. And that's the joy of just leaving yourself open to the world and seeing where your nose takes you. Right, to the Gralach climb. Although I've competed in a few Ironman events, I've never really been into racing. And now we are in our 60s. Events like this, where there's no fixed route, just a base that you can chop and change to suit, well, this is perfect.
Well, how many of these?
Oh, do you fancy some ice cream? We've got a bit of time really before check-in.
Actually,
We've got an hour and a half.
I know, but they might be.
You think? Hiya.
We both had ice cream. This is New Galloway, the smallest royal borough in Scotland. With time to spare, we explored a forest, visited the ruin of Kenmore Castle that was a hotel until 1958.
Hello.
Almost met a sad-looking pig, then made our way to the hotel. There's also a campsite here where we caught up with other riders, including the man who devised the idea of 2 routes for every day. This is Callum.
Because sometimes people aren't having a good day, or they've been ill, or they haven't managed to do as much training, and it's nice to be able to take a shorter route and for people still to come, and I guess even just people, you know, maybe couples who one wants to go a bit further, one wants to go a bit less far, to be able to have route options for everyone. So yeah, I think just trying to make it a bit more accessible.
There's a podcast with Callum coming in September 2023, all about the rally and where it will be going in future years.
Another sunny day in Scotland. And again, we've gone with the rolling route just because it looked a bit more interesting. More interesting in that we've got these little lanes. Yeah. And then we share with the rugged route, trip through a forest that climbs up and over and down into Moffat, which is where we're going to spend tonight.
Why don't we take it slow, let the universe grab a hold. Why don't we take it slow, there's no rush to go where we want to go, where we want to go.
Hi.
Is it until we get back, is it?
This is it, but it's just over 20 miles, so it's not a massive thing, but it's up through the forest. But I'm definitely having lunch.
Yeah, okay.
This is the A Forest Cafe and Bike Shop, where it is tempting to think we've brought the wrong bikes. Now it's rugged route all the way.
Thank you very much.
A Forest is one of the UK's biggest, the size of 10,000 football pitches. Thousands of trees are planted and harvested each year. They go to make paper, pallets, and into housing. And then there are these, the Hairstains Wind Farm. This is a working factory.
There do seem to be turbines everywhere you look. There are 68 of them here at the Hairstains Wind Farm. and they've been operational since 2014. Their operational load is 136 megawatts.
And depending on the assumptions made, that could power between 50,000 and 130,000 homes. Out the other side, and we're sweeping down to and under the motorway, and into the town of Moffat, where we have booked the most bike-friendly hotel we could imagine.
We've got some cleaning stuff, right?
Oh, wow!
That's motorbike and bicycle friendly. A Zimbabwean family run this place and even provide lock-up rooms for our bikes. We are very impressed with everything about the Buccleuch Arms.
Good morning. See, the bakery's being hit already. Excellent. Turns out that we're about the same level of fitness, me not having trained and Liz doing all her swim training. So that's good. Today we're starting on the rolling one, but we have a decision to make up ahead, and we have to decide whether or not we're going up into the forest again on the rugged route, or whether to stick to the rolling one. And it's a difficult decision because, well, we've kind of got the idea of these forests and more of the same. I'm not sure either of us particularly want that. Whereas the rolling route shows up on Komoot as a highlight for cycling.
From Estilmuir straight up
the
to
left,
Ettrick Valley, it's a stunning road.
So I think we're doing that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Even though we were still going to decide at the cafe.
Yeah.
I get the feeling decisions kind of de facto been made for us.
Riding. I'm really enjoying it.
Alright, so where are you?
Right, so which way are we going then?
We're heading up that way.
Right, okay then. Right, we'll
I think.
see you later.
Yeah,
Right.
Enjoy.
So do we need a discussion, you and me, about which way we're going to go?
No, we know which way we're going.
We're not going in the forest, we're going to go down the road.
No.
That meant we had time to take things easy at the Sami Ling Buddhist monastery, although not quite as easy as their ducks. For an off-road tour, we're riding a lot of road, but for me, this is better than a timber factory.
This is lovely. I'm kind of glad we came this way. This really is like the Lake District meets the Yorkshire Dales meets the Durham Dales. All but with a little bit more oomph.
Lunch was a roadside picnic.
Do you want me to leave you a bit of cheese?
Then more great roads to the big cycling town of Innerleithen.
Stood outside the co-op waiting for Liz to buy some food for tomorrow. It's dawning on me that we really are in mountain bike territory here.
So much so that there's now a hotel a little further down the cycle path at Glen Tress dedicated to cyclists. It's called Riders Retreat, and when I heard that, we had to go.
Hi, I'm Murray, Managing Director and owner at Glen Tress Hotel, Riders Retreat, handlebar and grill, all of the above.
There's a secure lockup and bike wash here, plus tools and pumps which help me to fix a slow puncture.
This is what people expect, and we're competing on an international footing now, and these guys are all paying to go on amazing trips to foreign destinations that they've seen in magazines, and what they expect when they come here for me is, yeah, look, they expect mountain bike friendly rooms, they expect secure stores, they expect tools, all those things. That's what I want when I go away, so why wouldn't they want it?
It's the final day, and plans to ride Glen Tress have changed. Liz just doesn't feel up to it.
Now, if I'm honest, I'm slightly disappointed that we're not going to be doing that big climb in Glen Tress. I'd saved a little bit of myself for that. But you know, sticking together on an adventure is more important. Much more important. Good morning to you. Thank you for the wave. This is a beautiful glen relatively quiet on the road before 9 o'clock, but quite a few people camped here and getting ready to go for a ride. It's a Saturday morning of a bank holiday weekend, and clearly there's been an exodus from the city. People have got themselves installed either with their families or they've come down in their vans to go mountain biking, and there's wee encampments all over the place of people ready to enjoy what could be a very sunny weekend. Yeah, that farm is marked on the OS maps as Glen Tress. You kind of wonder if the Forestry Commission, as was then, took the name for the forest, and then that's what's become the mountain bike area. So we come over a windy hill and we are overlooking the metropolis. So we have the Pentland Hills, and that's where the rally will go, into that sort of area before making its way into Edinburgh itself. We, on the other hand, are going to leave the route. Hope you can hear this, it's very windy. And we are heading down to the coast and back to our van, which is parked in North Berwick. And I think I can see the Law, the big lump of a hill in North Berwick.
Which means we're returning to urban areas. It was a surprise that we ended up cycling mostly the rolling route rather than the rugged one, and cutting short some of the days. It means we've not cycled with or even met most people taking part in the rally. But at no time were we left feeling we'd cheated or weren't part of the rally proper.
It's an unusual event, and it works. It's all the better for being so.
Everyone rides their own ride, and ours was at the easier end of the rally options, finishing overlooking the Bass Rock. As I said earlier, Keith and Lindsay tackled a far more rugged version of the same event and have produced a video which is very different to mine. Check that out here. And for more of my off-road adventures, this is a good one to try. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.